Summer Brian Boabin, good morning. Michael Jojo, you have a good day. Sammy Ewuku, wherever you are, good morning. Kwabna Eji Ejipong, Frere Ken Impari, Eric Kwachi Mozo, E.T. Akono, Nana Kobo. Yes, your song, all of you. Dan Kwansre. Mrs. Sarah Doku at Kingdom Books and Stationery. Happy birthday, Mrs. Sarah Doku at Kingdom Books and Stationery. Love from your husband, Mr. James Doku at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. SS, please wish my mom Nancy a happy birthday. It's from your husband Wilson and your daughters Mamia Kusi and Anaya Siedu. What have you done to Matthew?
General Major so.
Boko dear.
Namia dum bibia boko.
And she be a best starting comedian is here. Me no nkwa obi anyamai.
Mate.
Emran swana mikro. Emran swana mikro.
FM.
Nipa bejini din. Wan bejini nche. Nipa bejini din. Charles Alenjima. Tata. Time check, 9 minutes past 9, Peace 104.3. Tonto Machibium.
Chama General Major so.
Boko there.
Namia dum bibia boko.
Baby, you're free here.
Namia dum.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Nkakan. Sani tie bia yetem kwamu de. Wa na wo kan wasem bi. We say what's it then when you say a prayer.
When you stop to say a prayer, say one for me too.
nyame hu mobro nya kan na yatim kwan na
amen
ne mpaibo agye de ebefa ne sa
nyame ne dana se
sanity
nyame ne dana se na maybe so inti ohwe nya amapanyi na reshuffle such nia
obi say a replacement and a reshuffle
obi so say re
oh okay
but shuffle na beba later
oh I see
what do you make of it
me da say memfa akonya isu na menchia na menchia watie for strong
yeah Joso
omampanyi reshuffle a oyeye no I think say so share trade ministry na share agric ministry na mpanyimfo bi wo ho a omo ankasa free omo pem e de omo adwuma ato ho and I think say chieftaincy minister so
yes
na ne ho mfa no de eteye no ti ono so de n'adwuma eto ho enti ebetimi akasa sa nipa miensa no omampanyi e replace omo e de mpanyimfo ahoro and mpanyimfo foforo miensa e be share omanemu owie ye no na odane ne nsa no kakra wo hwe yenua Herbert Crapper oyi ni free traders so odene ko energy yenua mean anta oyi ni free energy odena ba minister of state
nti ano na movement no
nti eno na the movement aspect of it so far I think say some of the questions and kofoni bi abusa ne say Brian Champon at agric minister or background in agric and all of these things but me de kakra me hu ene de menti asiem when it comes to policy implementation near there so wo hwe obi ti say ye maame hawa kumsin okay say mra ye de ne call fisheries ebeye hu ye bibre
no correct
say na maami ede no nimfa fisheries ho but ye nyina ye beji atum say last year wo hwe media reviews ya interestingly no maami ni din showed up the year before ni din showed up proving say you don't necessarily have to be an expert in an area and sana wa manage sa area no.
Talking about agric, if we go back a bit, some of the success stories as ministers of agric, Operation Feed Yourself,
yes,
and General Champong and Colonel Frank Benasco, Ebisu Abo Major Courage Koshigadin as Obia or boy papa in the area of agric, even though Sena Onye he didn't have a background in agric. Just to buttress your point, Keke say sometimes
and even Obi to say Napo, for example.
Yes.
Napo is a trained medical person.
Yeah.
But Oshe Juma Napo could di education ministry. Now Oshe a Juma opinini di energy ministry. Now saying more Juma a fall back of one of the sister stations. As more kind say ade aye no nwanwa pa ne say aban we challenges aye nyina still kania edesusi so. Na Ghana for nko ahohihiem eba dum so ne sansensem na. So obi to say Napo proves as an example. Nti obi busa say obi to say Brian Champon wo a great backgrounder. Me nyintum e kire say this is a young man Brakwame wo hwe ne background fitia brochire eba abedru Ghana ha adwuma waye to the extent say now Brian Champon is running perhaps the biggest hotel in Ghana. Oshe Abrantie ni nimdeɛ in terms of education, in terms of business management, in terms of political and policy understanding. Enti enye bibia ebeye me hu beye me wanwa say ye di dwumadie say ahye ne nsa because ye ka say o ye minister.
But so far no he has to go for vetting.
Of course. But I'm just saying, say you can't say we
So he's more than qualified for it.
Yeah, he's more than qualified because we know your policy head. Where Juma and say a quite ben now be fast one. Ubenya the right technocrats to come up, to bring you all together to deliver on your mandate. And media, me free say these are persons are approval in their private lives, so they have what it takes to do what they have to do. Now, baby, I'm a person me de my home den do na ejina ye. Osha, I think say Enra or Enrichi. The Pentecostal Church at the Nkrata bi eba abonten. Nkrata omo de ba abonten no na nsemfo aba mienu miensa ne wom. Edi kan panyimfo no kire o madwen se anka omo besusu se aban bete be downsize the government.
Nkofo omo omo ye adwuma.
Omo ye adwuma no brofo omo kan no. And then etosu mienu aban no be hwe expenditure. Na what is
Ekayebo.
Brakwa di kan ma na Pentecostal Church ase. If he says say ye amanyosem na ye chichire oman a. Na wo ya aban a ese wo gitum say bra no ni petitru ni Kokrokoo bi to da bi mpo anenya ni petitru. Ebetimi de afutu sem bi abrewa. Se wo brewa kuma ase na wo gi se afutu sem na ebetimi aboa wo. Because amaya horo bebre no se chinwa hye ba ana se obi free said the way no no nya adwene a the oye ne so otwetu ana otwe aba. But se ubenya institutions like the Christian Council, the Ghana Medical Association and all these groups, and then now the Pentecostal Church to come out and say ya adwene mu no ye free say aban fan hyehyeye we and went through the right channels through the Minister of Information. And information command say fa komo man panyin say yenso ya adwen kire ni me free say your pepa me free say ya akoma pa as aban ya gitum yesum maka say wie no ensemfo a omobusa ye no anansemfo a omode tu dwa a omopese aban yi ano no ye ho bibi no me pesa nka ebe komu kakra efi say etoda bi wo ho na unua bi busa asem na wan to obu an kire ni mu a eja niema bibiri wa kire so auto obu so no te ase a ede impuntu eba. Now say eba politics I will be a friend optics and you will be a friend substance. I thought that be a substance near very important. I thought that being so you have to overlook the substance and look at the optics. I thought that being so ni mienu nyina wo hwe na wadane no. Sa wo hwe asem odi kan a mpanyimfo no raise ya almost aban and downsize the government. Looking at the ministers and all of that. Chairman General na me be ya adwen say aban share na dwuma se foforo na ministers ayewo 111 so be kaya.
And above
from to 86 ministers.
And now you say I want you in terms from more.
Me pese me chirichiri mu kakra. Now Chairman General over 86 ministers now. Emu 16 statutory. Just say emrasha omampanyi keten say sa nipa dunsia ne de oyi omo ne regional ministers no. Ti na beka 70 no nso no. So wo hwe 86 before this current arrangement omo de nya approve omo nti entimi emfa omo nye calculation no. Emu 55 and MPs. So out of the 70 no emu 55 in fact 16 no cry regional ministers no emu mienu MPs Western region and Greater Accra Yinra Henry and Yinra Ochredako omo ye MPs but ufa outside of the 16 now far 70 na kana emu 55 and MP enti they trying say omo ye ministers are omo ye stand alone ministers no nipa dunum pe. Now say we ye a minister now say MP dodo na no ye de bibi ketwa bi ena to aketua so nti say mfa ne say wogi 10,000 ye de e bi a 3,000 cedis ena beto aketua so nti nyase ye tua wo ka as a minister ni asabe tua wo ka as an MP there be Yes, anity. Now, maka eno awie no nti ye hu se nipa omo ye stand alone ministers a aban yi twa omo ka as ministers e nipa dunum pe. Now, se aban ka se o collapse ministry a yemfa ne se aban se o collapse Ministry of Communication. Now they akoka information ho. Obi te se yenra upon kroma ye MP. Ye maame Esla Usu a MP. I think say ne deputy nso ye MP. So what it does ne say uyi one minister free ho now kan bom information ni communication be ba kwa. Workers na wo communication ministry no unyi omadi o. I think say de bia no ne ade ba kwa ya yentwe adwene enkosi. Omo ye adwuma ma ministry no unyi omadi. They are still there.
Yes, civil servants.
Yes, civil, and they form the biggest cost in the ministry. It's not the minister. Unyi omadi. Enti se oka se yenyi sa nipa ba ko ni mfiro ne enkoka momu a. De waya ne se adwuma nka e bia ye maame Esla Owusu beye no. Se chief director no beba beye. Enti akwantu a na se ye maame Esla Owusu ekono. Se minister na oye information a wo hwe ni mienu so na ntimi ankwa chief director ne beko. Chief director so no car ye de manu a oyusu no, it is the same cross country car ye de man minister a oyusu. Pacho brakwa me what now yemfa government machinery to say presidency. Last 2 weeks na me miracles ebetena ha. Eye analysis ne ma ye nyina ye hu say wo fa even the government say a presidency enipa ho no emu oha mu abupen be say adusia de omo ye civil servants eto da bi wo kra broko aduoson 70% civil servants. So me ka we nyina besi say numbers are some education academics be running ye no kire say wo ka Ghana yensi kasem a ba bia ohaw ni titiru gina no ba aban say ministers ni ade a it doesn't scratch the surface. So I am discussing the substance. Me we are member optics. Now yen share last year expenditure numbers be a say we share for example sika aban edi tria ne bosia interest payment any sika aban edi tria government workers car you immediately realize say sa ade ani mienu nko ano e twam be 60 to 70% of our expenditure. In fact, so we share sika you spending on running the government e sika kumebi. Enti se ba se ye ka se yente aban government ministers ni ade so a, then it comes to the issue of optics. E ho na mimi free say yempanyimfo a mo free Pentecostal church no e wo a very valid case.
So.
Because when you look at the substance now, it shows say we BBF and society bien wa ebeba. The change is extremely marginal. But baby omo nyina so a ye mu bi ye no omo be ya adwen ne say. Se bra kwame ohawba na se osi obi an tighten the belt. You must also show say also all tighten or belt. In politics, no sometimes no optics no crowd be important than the substance. Into your analysis ni nyina wie na show mpo say the reduction a wo hwehwe na nye substantial a sene be ya pensioner ono wote ho a sabio aban ka se onfa ne sika kakra man ne ye debt restructuring sene be ya nhyehyeye bi a ye ya yesi obi amia ne ho kakra no sa nipa no nso be hunu se aban no ne me share asudie no. You do something to optically show the person say also make an effort. In that regard, no, me free say, sempa, aban ni jitum. Now you make some effort in the space of optics to show say, yanso that burden share no, ye fa part of it. Abana the kind of commitment, medical say ministers were 111 to 86. But me jidi say and say you better the overall governance structure and see baby you betimi ayen sisan kakra. Na yetimi amagana fo nso ehu se ye bibi ni omu akon ne ana osana eda yenim. When it comes to expenditure there, Brakwame, unim say aban no has made efforts in as far as discretionary cuts. Me no ka say CEOs and government ministers are taking 30% cut every month of their salary. Petrol vouchers and other benefits are the more 50% cut. Abanya Jeffrey. In fact, nonsense vice president ne MPCB to kwan call salaga for or him pombi a ye.
Omodo tamale Mufabas.
Mufabas at the coy. Nonsense CEOs being so called training big kakra. Also the bus and the coy. At least these are all efforts are buying yet to show say we will cut expenditure. So what's your budget running for this year? When it comes to goods and services, Abana make it 20% expenditure cut in goods and services. And I feel say a honso Abano a show commitment. But Sagana for bonyo soa, me jidi say say as a buying ye bet ni omobedin komachira omoni ye na ne ye betimi so ayaka ho no ya to akoso ayaka ho if he says here the economy ni beba the right path ye hia Ghana fo nyina se ye be join me gidi say President Akufo-Addo as he has proven over the years say oye o man panyin a otie asem no me gidi say nhihye papa beba na insusuya Pentecostal church ne dia ba no.
Well, you see a Pentecostal and charismatic conference.
Okay.
And the Church of Pentecost, NAS.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And in Susuya, sa asori kuoi ediabano. Abano beji atu mijidisi adua to because Minister of Information and or receive or monso or fell so ni akoma paso. Enti ya best ye papa nom asofo for say the oma kan ye jitum. Free so mufri akoma pam no odomu na etu aban no fo se onye nsesan bia ede periperio ebeba e wo yenyina ye dada setenam. We take it in good faith back and we must do everything to ensure say Ghana for will come on board with us in this forward movement. Yes and ye beya ye do minor economy no e be taking the right path. Medasi
P to Edmedians Kofi Tonto na Mutenen Kano or a government spokesperson and as a government communicator ewa mo mukai no ebia mo na muko US those days no mbekata Kofi Tonto so now or a head of public affairs Ghana embassy ewa USA. Dr. Smart Sapong a senior research fellow Kumasi Technical University. Doc Machi Akwabanso
Rapame.
Boko de Afisha pa.
Oh, Radia Dom Chaman General.
Sisiano bisu dia send him say near president regrouping. 80
mini reshuffling.
Yes, a regrouping. But what do you make of it?
Great. Chaman General Mesa do asibio.
Now answer Abedamasin obi di bibia bremi or see communications team at the presidency. You see your 4 directors of communication, your 5 deputy directors of communication, your 2 communication specialists, 2 communications officers, 5 technical communication assistants, 1 media aide, assistant media liaison officer 1 communications consultant, and a presidential advisor on media. Into 4 plus 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17, 21. I don't know.
You see, this is part of a near my mimi free say be a ban I see a bar bonting. Na yani Ghana for be din komo was anema we home. Especially education am providing in ne. Ama ye nyina ya hu say ministers impono. E move 57 MPs. Buying take major hit from them. Now, this point I will make is an example of what constitutes the presidency. Unim say scholarship secretariat eshe presidency ase. Unim say NEIP she presidency ase. There are so many agencies almost share presidency ase a. Say omo communication director was our agency now. Sir communication director no will be classified under the government machinery. Pacho what they make an enti obi wo asem kana make say obi wo scholarship secretariat na to say ye nua panyi Kingsley ye count no under government machinery. It is our communications director or what you be count to that communications director under government machinery. It doesn't necessarily mean say you will Eugene Ahim Mako 4. Pacho what you say? These are some of the enema e wa bontinia esi etu ye bo chire mu Ghana 40 ase. It is not the case say you will nipa Eugene Ahim position no. You will nipa 4 omo yes our position say communication directors at the presidency. But emum other agencies share the presidency as now almost work communication director. When him say even communication director, vice president, and so I want the communications director specifically for the office of the vice president. Or no, so you be counting no. And to one you careful, Obeka say Eugene Ahen office in Kwa nipa 21. It's not the case. It is not the case. Into omo the search reports beto abontino. Yes, rom. Any DM say omo ye Ghana for omo every right so omo be hold abino accountable and responsible. But so what the information we beto abontin to bu na ti ase na sene be ya some information ne kwa abontin untum futuro ngu Ghana for ani. Because en ocean chire mu amede abaya obia otie me objectively bia be hu say so we ka say aban ne so a relative statement actually say the only standing ministers nipa do numpe omo maka nyina ya MPs.
Back to question me bisa o enti yempiempia man tinchichi minka ma ho
brakwa bisa bi o say
yempiempia wan kan cheche mu yemba
o say no ntina
enti mo de sa bedu sa ya momo yemo a monka he
because back when me asem we buy enye no
enukre because me te other stations are prominent stations are no more can say asem we
peace
and I was shocked
and nobody responded.
There's nothing
responded.
Yeah, but why would nobody respond?
I know the na make us CCI me more me minister abaso and then the deputy.
Why no minister?
Upon Kroma.
Kojo.
As a government spokesperson, Michelle Upon Kroma. Anuntina sabi ode obi ti sami aba say yanso ye meboa me nua Palgrave no more makanya na say ye meboa. So you see that last week miracles be yes analysis. Last week me be good for oil. Ye were other issues ye be ba bonten ne afa no mako ne akirikiri mama Ghana for.
Enti as obi amisume communication. Adentina policy. It always goes with communication.
Yeah.
Because you need to carry people along.
It's true. Very, very true.
And you in Indiana, Massachusetts now going on.
University of Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Who's your
Economics and political science.
Say political crowd.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Inti carrying people along
in fact, there is a
mo pesa de no kwa pemwa
No more chase
inti no a fire fighting approach.
Yeah.
Matuatum. Oh, that been just
there is a story going around about Thor. You know, NDC for sorry, and no more ye say no more ye Thor na. Nyame ya adom next week or so. Mepemre na mababi chirichirim on Thor. And some more can no crib be any. And a baby will have no credit no more than truck a craft fry. We will come and explain all of it. Me no kasa bust. For 11 years, me no kasa bust a reported profit 2 consecutive years after 11 years of negative values. But why ne kasa say me? Me nimsa province the story not to abontin. But we must go out. We must go out and boldly state these statements. Emma Ghana Frontier say, "Enchirechiremu." So we are going to do it. no ya adwene me gitum say but back when okay say last week me no be tena heading koma me ka say we are experiencing communication fatigue na me chire mu say o ya ban eduru ba bia who achieve success no mpo na wo ka kire timamufo na otobo mu na aba akiri fi say a natural phenomenon where people get tired when you feed them with too much information.
I don't think that is the issue.
No, me can't be see asem so. But the point is, media house be for asem no dane no kra say enya asem a me be kan chiri no dane no ye na asem foforo. But I also get your point. There is the case of achievement, there is a case of governance, there is a case of how you properly put your message across. Brakwami yajitum, the SCA ye bia no, ye be to ensure say ye be ma Ghana for atin semwa. So mote no motiasi. Lastly, obi a correct me say Attorney General so another statutory minister, Marshal Mampenyi Kete say oyino.
Mr. Peace 104.3. Mr. Johnny Toto, wherever you are, happy birthday to you. God bless you richly. Charles Usum Wachanope.
General.
Minia.
Mejo so nyamidim.
Boko de.
Oba de na daroma.
Nyamene dana say.
Meti wani mu de. Asedan kuto.
Amen. Amen. Dr. Sapon.
Good.
Replace.
Yeah.
Reshuffle.
Regrouping.
Regroup. Repeat. Repeal. Reorganize. Restrict.
Nice one. Yeah. Better at if was.
Yeah, Joso.
Na ebre mo pa man anope ya mo de tie. Achi amenu amenu mo studio. Menu Kofi and Reverend. Braka me interesting submission. Nen komo Kofi ni o manfo edi no. Seriously me te hapa and so many age ho because edu brebi e brand kura nya ntwemu ukomia mia be brat mu say so no friend no communication fatigue dia and na fatigue na aye kese papa yeah communication dia say
e bia na ya didija fatigue
na me I want to use
na asema nka me ba be bisa ne say yes, everybody chop for a website. But I see website for you being who chop.
David.
I can't hold a man sa.
Me say and now when you say your mom says someone na unya bi. When you chow ho kosa. Enti fatigue ne de bragofi. Baby aye free ban baby aye tie ne Ghana fa na be fatigue ne de. So for the fatigue they are setting pa. Communications in be no one crying. And umu chase other things other than clarifying things to the people.
Yeah.
And the kakra me hunu no nti say fatigue dia and the mo hwe na mo special energy drink bi no mo. Energize kakra na sisi adem say.
So I'm not saying the fatigue on the communication side though.
Yes, on the listener's side. Their ears are but you see me can be say the communication is actually not even going.
Okay.
Na am at the platform bi so am wo baka me hu wo so. Na obi say obi at the good for oil obi to mu say and no tie communicator bi na say communicator na nkasa you confused.
Okay.
And one senior man brought and he say or no dey feel say mo nkasa na mo nya frequent meetings to orient and train mo communicators nti no say no tiase fa no dey akotena say na back na obi so tiase fa explanation at my goal for you even the tone kasa ne abotra wonya de church em nko another thing em say mo insanya training mo communicators na mo
ye training I think say baby a betimi aboa ye ho kakra ne say ye training a topic bia ne de obi ahoden wo.
Yeah.
Nti after ye training we must then deliberately maybe pick nipa be 2 or 3 bia omo ye extremely informed on the subject. So no more na your front line and then no more maka atwa so. Now can say ya started sad there na yeah. And untina for example me be chirichiri mo ye busu a ye sad.
Now Dr. Sapon.
Yes sir.
Ebisi the crack say fatigue na Kofi Tonto ka ho asem no It is a didija that has caused the fatigue.
Reverend, Obiako support to argue.
Of course.
Or see, a didija. Meet you.
They were in opposition.
They
had people to communicate for them to come to power. I will do power movement or abaymuno, and I wouldn't mean Thomas. Which means Thomas and my toy. When you made them so edit 2 minutes. Edit 2 minutes on say we are. I feel Castana or whatever bought 2 minutes home by the which you wouldn't mean my home by. I mean, I sound a bit too saying the woman said, Chairman, yeah, Mumba by Mumbai and Umfis uncle for whom he had. And that is the reason why I'm here. And then, who could feed from here to this place to that place? Because you see, can you know, I mean, no boy. Yeah, I can't about it.
No boy.
We are finna feed there, ever. I could never for Bakuma. Nidoye easy. Sabako for bedon to the crash on na men and go say, yes, and no boy. Until Ubia, you call one me about phone. Watch about near to within there. Never for your mother. The next day, it will be for. And it helps. Now, we need to be there. But if was all man point church. And now we better be best. You could jaw, yes, you could jaw. Yeah, you jaw hoko. There no be no moon in your baby.
And a street language, you see, too much eye open.
Yeah. Oh, your eye open too much there.
It is bottom close. Too much eye open is bottom close.
Yeah.
Hey, Samuel Brian Boabing. I say yes. One person is chopping alone.
Hey.
Hence the wahala. Comes budget Yamutu. And now allowances for media and other stuff Yamutu. Edidija. Samuel Brian Boabing.
I see. I see.
Charles Owusu, I say God has blessed him and God will bless him for speaking for the communicators. Amen. Sasa sends that one. Chairman General, your guest Kofi Tonto says he studied economics and political science, which is very good. But you sitting there, you studied communication. So you think differently. Let them also appoint people like you with communication. Me. Let me leave it here. Thank you. I support the Didija comments with 10 bags of this week chocolate drink. Kwesi Reynolds, Agona Dobing. Hey, I mean, say, Yaka Manfubisa, Asama Momon.
Yeah.
Hey. Well, anyway, let me leave it there. Farouk in Temwa. Hey, Samuel Brian Boabing has opened the can of worms. Kofi Tonto is making some good points there and also acknowledging the view by the Pentecostal and Charismatic Conference. However, like Kofi said, the optics is very, very important, especially when we complain about the large size of the then NDC government. We need to appear credible in the eyes of the ordinary Ghanaian to be able to break the 8. Sasa in Tardi sends that one. Okay. 0244-844-488 0244-844-488. 16 minutes from now, it will be 10 in the morning of Friday, the 10th of February 2023. Charles Owusu, God bless you, from Ankoma Foster Chima Yiribi. The posture of the president vis-a-vis his refusal to heed the numerous call to downsize his government is an indication he does not see Ghana's problem the way Ghanaians see it. Let's leave him alone, because the Yin-Tiobia syndrome has been with us for a long time. Uchabre Nobeba, Francis Brakwa in Kumasi. Is there any way that misinformation and propaganda can be stopped? To me, no matter the amount of explanation any government gives, the misinformation can never be taken out of our politics. Amino, and in swim. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Doc, Brem.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, the TF was a pa.
Yeah, Joseph.
More joining pa. Say, your class aside na we dia. Me view on the regrouping no abano as compared to asofo no so efutu a omudi abano. Em say ni nyina ya de kra. ye be sere mpanimfo mampani ene ne mpanimfo se omumfa nkwa adwendwene mu.
Okay.
Menu akofi ama a very good adi nchechiremu a me de to asomu pa. Minim se ne 86 no a ene o kasa ye number of ministers no deputy ministers ne ka ho a. Omunyina together 86. Total. Total 86 as against me fan say the cabinet positions plus a bia anka regional ministers dunsia anka ebetimi anya 35 no so bia kra deputy ba akumpo ana say regional ministers say money deputies but either obey 19 no times 2 no be anya deputies ana say
16 times 2 you mean?
No 19 times
and 19 then cabinet
for no times 2. Na yenya bibi somewhere size no be ba from kakra ma ye nyina anka epe as a chira na se nchiremu a me de me feel say o manfo no e chiremu a me ne mu ya adwene wo ho ne say ode ahokyira aba ne kura to nchen a ye wo asoafo ne bi enya asoafo se nipa no ba so ye ne bi a o hwe omodwumo mu ye pa replication and duplication ya otie mu pa manfo taika fisheries say ne papa ne agrek omu fifi krum unso aware watu akakotena wo fie na eson nkwan bills and eson wo papa nso bills. Meanwhile in your father's house are many mansions. If you listen ye kire nkwara ade nyina fisheries ne remu nuane ne ade nyina aka agrek nko adwuma yi ho ye kuafo da ministers mienu na eba omu deputies crowd them in kind, but to the emphasis ministers mean but it's a clear case of duplication. Mame how comes in there, me in chain. Why are dear pa or fishes and intokani did and wo premise full of one and or no ne breast was a minister. Waiting me a control bad no controversies near dinner, ma minute me a standing out. Etimi a manages our ministry on one. Me bona bass was a person and then I said na ye can pay me can say ministry no. Say fisheries ejina baby na agrek enso jina baby de enye sa na ye kire yen adwuma bia na ewo ho no mu a na omuye under agrek bia no minim house of escated it has become enu nti esi christian nkwan ho ministry. In fact complexity in the appointing ministers and not say emu be ye di nti ene yen santi ministry foforo. I think say o person who say fisheries ni agrek mi enu yebetimi aka abom na duplication na aya hwe farmers day ho na abom se sa omu fifi krom hia se yetetim enti. I think say Pentecostals for no we can look at a critical example like this. Another example yebetimi ahwe pa edu ho no abom se sa ni nyina ya kobadie hu nsem na yeka railway any transportation say de kro omu fifi krom ni nyina ye say be ya ye betu kwan Ghana de ekura de minim keteke transportation bi a ye ya ese ye sheda nya ho ministry se ka ni infrastructure ye dia ene mesre se ho hia se bete ministry se ye si railway ye twa kwan ato ho free temade kompakada na se ye wodi so ade ho bi se ye be ye bi dia across the border akobokina nom ye sister countries ni ade akokuma se nom ni ade a se sa ni so ade hu ne ewo na ye procurement ye sensan krata ye fa ho adwene de abrakwa me enye good reason why say ye nyanti me de ho che na aba ne kura da nchen a practically on the surface of the paper some reason why we have a whole ministry in charge of railway in the I think say ye opeso hu pa say ye teso ebe ya bakwa ma ya sanitation say the ministry no some ministry near friend sanitation say jam minim say minim inshade nim say mu wo PR department number be kire ade poti pa mu ya ma omadwuma ne dance so sene ne amenua sampan ti kumase a o ya kumase ye fia ye nyina ye koso sampan mu na ye mo ne din kumase ye fia obi ani ministry of bia debi brakwa me I'm speaking practical na adwoso a ye fia na ye gya adwoso MC ho ne mo a mo hwe dwane so ne ade aba nkra behwehwe ade opeso who said that ministry is surprisingly it has even a representation on cabinet. Strange for me, very strange. If you're cabinet ministers, what say
Sanitation?
Yeah.
No.
Out of the 19.
No.
Out of the 19, no kahun parliamentary affairs kahun I Brako fi check my and but the last time I checked, it was there. Inti me the bestre ye kase yete so ebeye, and these are some of the examples I'm citing. In fact, me kra ma dwumu de Brako me. A ministry like parliamentary affairs under circumstances like this, they don't have to.
Is it a ministry?
Well, there's a minister.
A minister, but not a ministry.
Yeah, but there's a minister.
It's a minister.
By your ministers, no do on so.
Okay. I just want to clarify. It's not a
ministry.
whole
establishment.
No.
Yeah. Me know ya junipa. Enti say ministers do on here mako 86 ah. Yete so baako. For example, ye parliamentary affairs minister and everywhere ministers na swati by one minister. In fact, ye kase ye kan ye betimi abobo sisi de no system no ankasa reducing the home and penia ya there from 111 to 86. Ni amanfo ne kan say ye betimi aye sante so no so kakra aka ho anope mabobo bi so a on a proper day if they want to call for my position. Betimi ama a good justification why some of them must not adhere. Me name ni akofi ya adwen again. Now,
yes, it is true. Sanitation is part of cabinet.
Yes, yes. So who? Enti no, me name ni Kofi Adwene again. So Becca say, omuho kana omino ebono. Eye margin. In fact, yeah, always nanka so ka say ekebia ni ho. Ansana aye adino come margin idea na say eka.
I was comparing it to the GDP.
Yes.
In fact, Oshekana, the last numbers it's about 1% or so.
Yes.
But
yes.
I'll check the numbers again. Very marginal. Yeah.
Oh, but Braka I do baby na tieti na akobotwa. There's a little drops of water makes that mighty ocean.
Yes.
And na me the pass offer optics versus substance.
Yeah.
In fact, to be our kind politics Kakrabia will come to that effect. When you read the literature, it tells you optics no rather results in higher vote than the substance. In your assessment of the optics versus the substance, na say ya batwa na moko in 2024, na mu be here a vote there.
You need the optics.
You need the optics.
Very important.
Brakwame, you need the optics. You need the optics. And you know, Mesre, a fantastic analysis. Me anope my enjoy pa, but kakrebi akanam de count the one. Yeah, me sure say we can do it. Na ama omanfo no ani age ho. Say your team minister no so by one na. O man no e wash ne hands, o man hohoro ne nsa e free.
Enti Dr. Sapo me President Akufo-Addo.
Yes sir.
Osi say me parliamentary affairs nko.
Me pacho man nko ma me ye rade Brakwame.
Osi me sanitation nko.
Brakwame nko na the duplication is too legendary.
Me fisheries nko. Na enko sha agric.
Nko ne papa fie.
Enti me nsan enti hwan bi na nko.
Railways nko. Na transportation enfanka na juma.
Okay, enti railways nko. Hwan say 4
Yes, Brakwame. 4 nko akwa it will go with about 10 for nipa be do a yebo mhoka as ministers and their deputies.
Now, support staff. Let's just say ye be nipedi. Is that what we're saying?
Brakwame, ye hwe e car yebo ministers no ho and you deputies no ho. And civil servants ni ade no redistribution say sisi akra na dey freeze ato some of the sectors no so ade no. What it means is that and my study be a check akra say the revised version. I did this in somewhere 2011 or so. I check a crap. Now President Mills was on your fan currency.
Amen.
Public sector job evaluation survey. Public Service Commission for a contract and you see the government sector, Brakwame, and how a single office is choked with people being paid with taxpayers' money, Brakwame. What it means when they say send your retirements, resignations, and the unfortunate situations that I see deaths near the neighbor, no numbers in the sotia. The people there can be reassigned internally within. Kakra in the next 5 or so years, and you hear pension trends in the crowd. A lot of people at the end of the year will actually go and for the appointed positions are sometimes will be 60 a year. But civil servants will be some open for. Be 60 out. Yes, I have so near the casting now. So time so one day after your 60th at the control of where is you. Or move free mono. Brakwame, you don't need to re-employ in 5 years. You bet me a very correct number of workforce.
Let me just do this correction very quickly. We actually have a Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs.
I see.
Oh, okay.
There's a full ministry.
Ministry?
It has a chief director and supporting staff.
I didn't
And let me add, perhaps, the chief director is my former lecturer, Dr. Evans Agredakun,
Oh, okay. I
Political
didn't-
Science, University of Ghana.
Yeah,
I
Dr.
didn't think I didn't know that.
Yes, it is a full ministry.
I see.
Lawyer TK, thanks for
And,
drawing our
thanks for
attention
the
to it.
clarification.
Yeah.
But
Good.
I thought it was just a minister.
No, a full ministry.
Black community, where the better as a partner clarification at here for day, but now, Yasha say, Omu accommodations, Yateso. To see how for be deputy, for be minister, they die or bed them, ya or this one. Anya here crying at so music asem na
Me say, why am I 4 ministries?
Mama for black me point me if I did a small write up on it, I'll push it to you.
Okay.
There are more that we can just reorient. Ghana, black me, you hear more than 35 ministers.
You think so?
Yes.
But regional ministers in Kwai 16. Oh.
Aye, na cabinet 19. Oh dear, you're multiplying.
Deputies.
You're multiplying by 2. Now you're 70.
70.
Krano, aye, you're 70. At least it is better than the 86.
But regional ministers, as they say, there are no deputy regional ministers.
Yes.
There are no
This year, you know, 19 in Kwane wo.
19 plus 2 crab 38.
38.
Yes.
Plus 16.
Yes, like what you're saying.
54.
Yes. Brako, I mean, that should be enough for us.
Just so we can do up to 60 ministers.
Let's say 16, Brako, I mean, let's say 60. And you know why? Local government or ministry or minister. And maybe a Brako Fibe Chechem Sadi anymore. Now when you're minister of state at the in charge of local government, you are coming from the so at the serene yesterday and yes obi and the nisana no obi adwuma bia o ya na de Ghana is at a very critical stage brakwame say asem hia ba na se be adwendwene so aba ye adwendwene ho kwan e be fa so a nia ye kan can take away yenuanum mpanimfo mawi omadwuma omusu pensions funds anopay obekona omusu
me be no so kra
omuku akosra ade ni ade all these things ye betimi aye yenti enti yenhwe na yenye yi omube ye be yi omafri vehicles so because when you minister you will not be entitled to any statutory vehicle you invite back on so bo as for fuel omunya ni ade no kra de mani nhye dan hwe but so resource a minister and a deputy minister no meme ye hu ni say ye kaketwa at the long run brako amesisi ai common ye dey afa ho we fit the case you article 71 yempe but constitutionally obi antwa mu enti at the long run some numbers nyina would have to also be paid some amounts of money as article 71 office holders ye ke kasa sika we nyina bu brako fi enkoye marginal enkoye ketwa kakese very marginal na ye hwe no ahwa na akoye sika kese pa. Let's look at it again. Let's think
the
about
numbers
it.
They are marginal, but you know, it's valid.
What do you call it? Sorry, Semitrano.
No problem.
Doc.
Yes, sir.
Obi the Abia Brem is food for thought. If the MMDCs report to the Ministry of Local Government, then what is the role of the regional minister?
I know they are constitutional, so we must look at what the constitution.
Yes, also ye didn't come on. It could be constitutional. Yes, so should we look at it, relook at it? Because if MMDCs are reporting to the region, but then so who becomes
the ministers,
the person in charge of the region?
The assembly, in charge of RESEC, so many things. In charge of the overall direction of the region in terms of development and all. No. I know
he's actually the president's representative,
the premier or the governor or whatever. Yeah, I know what some people are proposing. Sanka yenye America DNB. Nanko monsu yentu omoso aba. So that the regional minister a direct commitment to the people and not to the president. So I know some proposal and also aba. But I know that you need a leader for a region. You can't do away with it.
And a different from MMDCs. That scenario near different from. So report to any different. Me summarize it as a lecturer there. Now me say substance is good, optics is good, but in more literature we say near a bema will vote.
Optics.
The optics and not the adi and a kakrebia, I bet it to every mubia no so me ehunu say sika na de beba na be fia bi apart from sika na de beba na kra no ye beja ye ho dan han a minister dan te say me no dan ya o ko pay bi you 1,000 Ghana ya na ye nyina ye tie me minister dan ye the dollars they to sometimes na afi omukas ahodo a tomo mu nyina no ka ba akobọ ne ade the resourcing of it and at the long run omu ba be article 75 one for ya ye do mu budget be to hono mu no kra wonte obeti ne etu awie hu na ade nti yeah you may need some getting in the before my
okay I'm going to quote Sampine. I'll say interesting conversation, but let me just add that Sampine is the mayor of Kumasi. I'll say the regional minister coordinates all of us. At the regional level, we work directly under the regional minister, but our mother ministry is the local government ministry. But the regional minister is in charge of the area of operation for every appointee. So just to buttress, Sampine, thank you very much. The strength or the importance of regional minister, in all of it. Anyway, please.
More researchers. I think for conversation and the next level. Output. It is for me. It is not enough to say cut when you have not juxtaposed it with output. Okay, say separate railway and free transport. Okay. Now, what I would like to see from researchers is that you can't bo muno. And fasu dear ben yanyai. Because you can't bo mudada.
Yeah, before.
Your team muno. And fasu ben yanya. Your team muno so kasa and your boy. So when you form one ministry, a kasa and our boy, what was the output? So we prove which let me say, your team muno, a canon was not worth the output. Now you have a case. Okay. Because it is not enough to just leave the conversation at kabom, because there is a case to be made. Say, places lose value. There is a case to be made. So, ministries there are instances, there are value loss in areas. And to help enrich the conversations, research output. Your T railway, what is the output? What was the cost? So, cost to Ghana $2 million. And your output $500 million. Then you cannot convince me, say, your team we must go beyond just quote unquote cut and enrich the conversation. Cost benefit analysis. And I think say and also be boy.
Charles Bremley into our drink tray. Yes.
Doctor. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Ne Kofi. Atie for na hwefo so a ehwe yen. Na me ya osofo idie. Aje me kanya me asamansa. Pentecost for onum bi omoto se me ko Jesus ho. Na the American na beko. Se owo nkwa. Nkwa na owo no so de chekwa. Ti anapa wutie me na se wonhu Yesu a. Ya bi obi ni nsem etwen o. Ti anyiska. Wo fa Yesu a wo pa mu aka se Yesu.
Ebi disco.
Ayon.
Charles ebi disco.
Ubenya enkwaje. Edi bebre ne wasase so. Ya wo chairman general conference se fa kan.
Yes sir.
Ya wo Dr. Sapon ho. Ya wo Kofi Tonto ho. Ne nyina wo limitations. Ba ya urade Yesu Kristo de din no. Awo wi ase ba bia e bo aye nyankwa e de fa ahodie ba o de oje so ba e mutie mi a aunti said ni da na me kanfo Yesu di amo ampon ene ne nua Tabita kum me chiwa mo Tabita kum bo nyum bi o se nipa ba wi ase na so hu onyame ntema na Yesu ntema asem da wo so ti hwe Yesu achi kwan ansa da bone ne de aba general
Minia obi se men kan che Dr. Sapon said ni refi so senkode chieftaincy ministry in Sukaho. Or say yen no na either local government or tourism, culture and creative arts. Or say we can take chieftaincy ministry out and either take it to tourism, culture and the creative arts or to local government. Well, that's interesting. Both local government and creative arts here. Chieftaincy ministry. But interesting. Just conversation.
General,
yes.
Lady kind of na me nua Kofi ka fatigue about communication. Kakra na ja. Ebi aka. Medical can am nisa tie for be so my again say. Dija nya fatigue number. Me call Great Ministry I think 2 days ago. Na me call Kubisa kwan wetin afa so adua emo na area be na adua emo ebeboa ye. And then a bruise so and then the young nimdie bebre den abam na me share branch bi me money din and I go di kwaso bi obi ha no fe na ebo and we be sam say na chance we nim say ye wo a factory one factory bi of fin so a year rice there now call radio so I won ka ho asem na me say da be na waka che me am go ka ho asem me ba be hwe ma di u share me o say and mo call radio so mo nka ho asem because planting for food and jobs no near ma aye o man mu no nya asem ketwa how will I know kwa be na me for me say me tibi fie ni me hu say planting for food and jobs
me come for the first time
baby na me ka ho asem so aye mo nkita hodie oh the people are umbetima ka ho asem den ade amam asem ma wachi akoma ne de ni ya mana yi asam e ma wachi ya ma ne de ni ya metimi hono mase ba me call radio so me pa aban o te so asem so metimi aka bibia support aban
yeah
obi mfiri aban mu ni me nkasa ada me cook train wa na makoka say me nim say I mean you think we speak like that I'm going to phobia we do am team tell you na me mfo mani munyam koto keke enko ka de mi nim say obi team metra say minister we obo adwuma pa obi say de adwuma obo
Peace FM
do those things e di Kofi mo pese obi kan asem mom na man for chechire ma they know what to do and they say in opposition kra no so munya nkofo kasa mama not in government
We don't have an excuse.
not in opposition oh time na because one time yes so no pa na me call Adom FM no pa every I mean for almost about 6 years now pa bi me call na every Monday me ni me about Tiko Jaba ne Anita de Soso and pa me chio me mo bia e wo do I say ya to air time I think 2016 to 2012 back
2016
ya to the whole Ghana air time whole Ghana nyina de okra muntimi fa nye en kasa kra na ise mo nyum keke e mo bia me kasa so wo aban ma de wuntumi nye so obedan oba na be ma and obedan be ma na oba and so if you know what is right munim de ye na so mo se mo nya you suffer fatigue what is mon nyere mo komu ye because I feel never kese pa come on
say nya keni so ka bibia because wanu ye pop
German
o can play
oh hey I mean as I say dey me anya ya feel na me go see because munim de America no they know Kofi some of us German general tie Taman ye nama na joa na ye pam ye na e bini mada let me tell you that me kind of crash now me ye to be fie 2 a.m. anajo na me time on show ye because my life and my family was at risk at the time na me first say don't crazy
amen
what you say what me pon program or pon program anajo by 11:30 we go down about 3 a.m. because ye ma onkoda and kura na ye fam with that danger e dey ba be kasa dey bo say ye be tu aban ye be tu ahinie na ye dey ahinie fufure dey e dey asi ho dey no one say na amen e ba no say na dey aduru ba bi aduru and so nyamenko a lot of people go for me ho anya o mti say me abi ameti kasa ma be transi akasa e be ground he doesn't even want to hear anything about politics sabi what was I doing a catch them was say ukum osma e bi dey nan obi dey nsa obi dey naso obi si dey niti na dey any touch man fama ni ba cross so obi ya anya ne kakra about say kasa dey enni ho enti I mean you know the root cause the ama the corner ba no mun kan kire on say mun misa say sabi nkofo mun nim so mun sympathize with me come me makana radio me fancy here say me between MPP and NDC I will still choose MPP 6 years and I have never been called by anybody to say well a buying program be crowd na yɛbɛ sɛ yɛhyɛ kyɛm kɔ ma mkɔ radio so na motie na mote aseɛ yi so that mkɔ koraa mbɛtumi aka bia wonka bi ma yɛ koraa na obi ka na sɛ sɛbi ɔkyea asɛm na wobɛtumi de atene asɛm na I'm saying 6 years ni so me betra ha wo se me cheche asɛm me ma deɛ menim na meka nyɛ deɛ wɔpɛ na meka deɛ wa wotie wa wopɛ sɛ meka bibi ma wo no deɛ wo yɛ deɛ wɔpɛ na meka deɛ me menim ɛne deɛ mate na meka because mentie hwia mɛde maka so that is the whole issue Kofi abanya sɛdeɛ ne abanya dwuma sɛ ɔbɛkyerɛkyerɛ because abanya dwuma nyinaa ne fa pɛ communication yɛn so kanea ne mfa nsi kanea dua se yɛde si so so that ɛbɛhyerɛ ama nipa hu nti abanya dwuma a ɔyɛ nyinara deɛ bibia gye sɛ dɛ wobɔ ɛna yɛde yɛ adwuma mobile media for no hwɛ ɔmo sɛn when the media guys were rooting for you people all over the country, not in Accra, all over the country, media guys are na a shamu, a kasam buama, you two a hinia free, a dear hinia for one. Media guys were part of the cause. And mobile saying, ask your people who are in charge of communication. Some say media men, both hosts and their you can say
producers.
I haven't am sure. Why wouldn't they discuss near my buying? If they were discussing issues for you people to come to power, I don't know what power mumuna and money. So and I'm saying today, Nanado appointees are disappointed him. Because he has done his I do so of course. They are disappointing him. And I don't know who said we have press conference be or a party office. Hey, now do you know what you are doing? And then when I'm working at the party office, church, what's the general report to me? Party office. Church general party, what's the general report? Party office. They can't. They have a send program once. And can we hear some bekasa? Because they will make sure the right information goes out. But what are you doing to these people? Omo kasa esho mumu. Na sabi o sama bo na se unyima ya tena ba bi ene hwe emre ne beduru dua na mfa asoforo ye no ha na mpa fa so esi obeba na oyi atwede na firi won age kwan fa so obesi fom atwede na lada na mforo course no obeduru na oyi ato nchen na waka wage kwan fa so obefu so edi abafo te ko bi mu ye niam yi a I mean MPP aban nye so onye bibi o me I drive the whole country me two kwan pa niam no di wani ehu nye yafunyade e ni yade why na e ka ho asem because me na me ko ka ho asem na say why na e ka ho asem so please mu ye niam yi a oman no ye nyina ye dia the media men those who communicate the edanya de all kan wasem kra on kan yi kra or boa wa cheche wunsem yi and you need all of them there be of aka chem say in politics you need to buy players window politics no say come on what's your political window no that one is that
say
your political window
top
players
Una can send me to
no, but with the Reverend, founded in political literature. Many I could say the recruitment is a serious in politics.
Let me tell you, see, it was Sir John that looked for me. You know, I'm called here. On the very share me, and no farm here and no fast.
My 2 points in
there's even that I can say approach.
It's true.
But man kasa kra mo party for MPP for kasa ko for ma nante am mo chele what 222. Omo ye hwe omo because of MPP power nti. Omo ye grow mo djuma grow mo nima se. Have you been looking for them?
Yeah.
E bia no ninkra ha. Bia no timi krom kransa do me abra. Nanso oduru ha obi e timi catch us we the MPP there on na age MPP there. Esi na. Any moja. A president kwa same group oba same group ofa same group okoha same group ade mo kwa na mo de power na bai mo kwa na mo de power na bai ene mo kwa mo kobo dawuro na mo fa ma bai no and that is what is happening jina man there say bibia ye as if said even me you know Nanado is my friend and I like him when we think somebody go na we yam kura den ahyew This is the man that won close to about 1 million votes in this country. It has never happened before.
You mean he won by a margin of more? And yes, he won close to 1 million.
Okay.
He won more than 1 million.
More than
votes,
1 million.
But the margin is what you're talking about.
Yes, more than 1 million. Not said. Yet, not pencil. Or may a president cry by James. Or buy a near my way in a can't. It's in Poncho. I dare not. Yes, say ni dinsa. Ni young for phone different. Eh, did ya? It's for me. Catch your uncle for so. Or moody deal, my friend, ma. A comes to drink for. So, Obi did on Casa. What did
Now, who be dancing?
your mom would do
On Netica, cry.
Charles,
Come on.
some of Brian Boy in Cancho say, a buwa, or when you're son. Na anoma that from ankai phone bearing some open so I say tell Charles Owusu, some of them have managed to get an elephant. Yet the bed on the ground too, they want to carry it and chop.
Sammy Michel.
Everyone wants to somewhere brand boy being partner.
And say oh Akabako I say Obama say catch yourself for Charles Owusu say ye didi ayen kasa. The fact of the issue is that some of those who used to speak for the party are in government today and are mouthful. They can't talk. When they talk, the food will choke them.
Recruit others.
Okay. Anyway.
Come on.
Me
papa no so for nsem o maka so.
Hey Charles Owusu. I remember change is coming.
Yes.
I can relate to how Charles is feeling. Kwabena Bawe 0. Charles Owusu is making my day. Communicators are disappointed, but for the love of the party, they don't talk. Chairman General, even when there's opportunity for employment, appointees will ping. Some are behaving like we are preparing for opposition. Charles, meet you.
Chawanda. Your papa no so for akasa. Asori ba ko a meni je ho pa akese. Na se me nam na se me hu se omo ye crusade kra. Chawa bia me ko bia me jako. Me ko tie nyame asem Church of Pentecost. Na wo hwe your papa no Church of Pentecost. Asem am dia betu dwen.
Pentecostal and Charismatic Council.
Yeah, they back compo. Now, you Church of Pentecost going in China. The whole Ghana. I saw a
crying a mouse and a rat.
Mouse.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We almost in Chenkwa. Almost about 3 million congregation. And Nipa back 3 million. I said, Yamukasa, and Yasam Ketua. See, the back of Suma, if I sorry, Christo Suma. We are almost 72% in this country. And there's a moon penny for Kasachi Abaya. As our Bayade, it's here as a problem. Many of you are coffee now, Adriana Pawi. And in some church, one church, coffee. I did be anywhere, she said, by Jessica Codidi. Same year, no chance. What is it will be? I remember I said, oh, now I want to say, what hospital? Oh, it's can't call for that. You know, answer by Jessica.
Yes, sir. Word of motivation bien yet the we are saying jika crash oboto. Yes, go for motivation. You have to pray. You have to live a good life.
I started my podcast with just one feather.
Debbie. Also, words of motivation be anywhere there's jika krakodi. That motivates than anything else. Carlos von Brazil. Good morning, my brother.
Come on.
On the Michano, Seminiano no. Carlos von Brazil. Na pampe mapa.
Sure.
Michana no pay.
Ayami? We mean a papa from Mukano for you.
Yeah.
The Aminia Kofi Kaina, Ominimo, Kofi.
Okay.
Maybe what Forestry Commission. Now me Jumama Forestry Commission. I wasn't a government appointee. Sabia a buying appointee me call. Now I internal generated funds like the America from Forestry Commission coffers. It mean I'm in car buying Sabia appointees. Ura said John and Roma. I got a chair phone so no. Or Podre Honka cried at the moment. Until I'm infinite. I'm in funny see.
Amen.
Come on, I one deputy minister and I'm here today. Some agency breed here. Agencies breed, government agency breed, sanity. And the Oba Forestry Commission here said they are and she said, no, there were executive directors, me and some. And the old directors almost saying. Executive directors only report to the chief executive, not deputy chief executives, including the directors. And he, I'm me use one as an example because it is and it's there baby. Now government machinery in ministers and kwan. I say I sometimes say minister.
Oh, no, of
minister
course not. No.
Government minister and kwan. And this aban kasa what so in year and you no cresa. Ma ban ye tin tisa. And nti na nkofo do baby aban pese bo amena me bo wasem a minister e ka no. Bo be na on fam bo.
Empacho me ba ho.
Yeah, who you prepared say obi pese obi ye den. E bo. Asem wey NDC for aka omo opposition nti mu nti omo. But then this is what Ghana for. Okay. Christian council aka. And that Church of Pentecostal,
charismatic,
any charismatic for so come once individuals so come once now yes I didn't change mu ba chechemu be bi me dey ba chechemu be bi ma
Ena afe nenso empo so se chichim.
oh yes Kofi look who can be on the other side of him adibo how we man nipa kora who say oh I mean you are ready to listen.
And on that pro doc can optics.
But I know the Charles who tell me
Me can send him guys okay. But you see oh dan kwa for ye do nti e ka wasem no. Ye mpa wasem a ye nkai we twan am akopem. Because you see BBA ni ho a it lasts forever. Nti na kan Ecclesiastes I say there are seasons and time.
Yeah.
A time to be born and time to die. Ofiti ase dako. E de mfi mo twe wanwu a na wongu suso na mebe won ho ban na dan kwa kofado obe retire ne mu legacy ho asan na ye ka enka ye dum ben na wuja. That's the most important thing. And you sit to swa we any kwan say ye twima mentwe kura say oh because we him the entire am working first term of the Nanado's government even on independent also people hinati some kasa entire ban the size of government
Peace FM.
Because na problem na wom first time nye bi na wom ne from 2017 to 2020 na ministers na any appointees doors change the yeka ho asemi but people begin a call for reduction of another so reducing of ministers and other appointees because they na niam nye basbasa so they told said yes another said he's in a hurry o hia ni pado do de adwuma okay that is what you want ye nya yen support na ye adwuma na den na yen ko anim. But what we can't say, or how about yen so? I'm or how about Bentino. As I say, yes, some quiet fast way near my day, a woman. And I never on my one penny a guy. And then she said, Baby, I'm about to draw. I idea a foot from my yen as on my map. And so, your dear to say, as I see a boy buying. And then a casa buying na aswafo and or no me adwuma so and they say justify I didn't hear Kofi I didn't hear who says say intimate so na yet so ade na be see because I see as you check say who can say ye chemu mienu a I see you be say ho say and dey emfaso dey na dey ba and ye can bo mu so no and dey loss dey dey yinya who can say no
yeah, of course
and you be say am say ye tese so a ye tese so hwe na ye hwe dey
of course no that's the point I'm
yeah, tese so hwe na say who say enko yi a then we can justify it and say ye tese so no say na abenti na every person ipa do dey eba. That's all.
No, I agree. But sounds pepper na me kind. So on share both sides.
I understand. So me ka the kind.
Yeah.
Because amamuo no enye obi na ebu man eyo man ma.
Yeah.
No, amamuo na e dey be. E nipa na wo man mu. And so o ye bibi na nipa na wo ya ma mo no say ade we a wo ya man. Mpanifo say wan see we a epia so. Ka obi di ade e wo. Na ye din office e wo de. To any bounce no pia awura with him. Tira the panny a wo bi a. On say obi a panny no bo an with him na o shake ni body ba mu say bibi foforo abam.
Yeah.
So at least amampani enya the opportunity say or very place two ministers. Afi ye transfer esumesi na de ne ko ha. Ya de obi so aba ba sha nan. Aka say I say ade na ye ka ho asem no. O de o pese o ya na o de obeye.
Oh,
Ada nke ni say nka o replace you.
Chairman. Me my dream one. Some ministers obetima replace you. Obetima replace two ministers no. Na say I'm fat deputy minister of state and minister of finance and kebe kan you say. Because yenua aduwa nfi maintain shortage bia bia maintain. Don't come nipa I don't call them those baby. Assemble anye Kofi man be chechem. And I know say party office na e kire a debt exchange ho asem. ministry your directors your ministers or 2 deputy ministers already. No. A minister and so you who say my finances or money my man no be di can say is also 24 nam do do nsen kwan chama no correct. Na mum say wan hwe ni yi na say nam no ko fa no do so. Na de money ko fra can say akokon kwan a hwe onya tisi papa. Enti me feel say o man pani say wan replace ewura adubo ankra nkanya we. Kangaroo or the yewura
but say ora no I mean so no a deputy minister that ain't it's not as if you free abonte na buy
chairman say as my parents say
ana ebi anko bi say Brian Champon we fear ban mu no osande na ba
anya body what I'm saying is oyi ora I mean or the name as minister of state I can't say
finance.
Yeah. And now what replace no me wana
BT.
Oh.
Yeah, and all the Herbert Akwesheho. But Herbert already a deputy minister.
Minim
chief engineer.
What I'm saying is
what dissect to be.
What I'm saying is that one point 2 obi anko finance minister wa dey na nkebisi. So obi anko the minister of state. Kade nebisi. Yenua obi amwa. Obi any maduma in local government. And to what deputy no on function na.
Your function?
So the Ministry of State that if I'm saying local government any better.
Na me cry there. Need education. And then maybe sir maybe for education. You see, the Minister of Finance and come here I say every day must give briefing to the president. Or your very essential ministry. And na me education say Minister of State in charge of finance no no bridge.
Come on. And somebody here, Kofi. I told her. Obabiti, o timi Kokrokoo crowd but me Kokrokoo was it of feeling station mommy. If you have to come. Open them was it of feeling station mommy. Obaba no crap of it. Kokrokoo na there then. Amano. Everybody is calling for reduction or reduce the size of government. And now who say I point to be a call baby. Kofi. Who say a man call for any agility?
Oh, send the charge. I had said the optics is important.
Baby of I can watch man I can't say civil servants or maybe ministry na magic and who's and some. See, I'm not gonna for a trouble. Kofi, I'm a civil servant too. Civil servant be na boni e koso man hifo lady.
Yeah, but Charles said the point I want to make and say can't no cry womb say fix it optics no. And who be here say you be ma Ghana for so at substance na say. So we must emphasize on the optics all right. But necessary say you be educate people on the substance. Send you be because mine here chichiro. And yes what you do is you leave your citizens in the dark. And then okay kufuado deal e china no one where that false information can lead to something because one man nipa na anya den anti ase enti me no ya adwen say enti na me kra me di kan say we must work on the optics but substance in there let's not undermine the need to educate people to understand the substance. Yeah.
Doctor and chairman can send me. Asema okay kwatwa ba ho. Asema okay.
Oh, me to ase.
Yeah, kwatwa ba enye adwuma.
Me to ase 1000%.
You see, at the end of the bottom line is power.
Yeah.
Bottom line, power.
A game of numbers.
It's game of numbers.
Yeah.
If you don't have power, that's more can enye adwuma.
Me no ya adwen.
Enti adia ye agi to me. Na niema so ye matumi free ensa. E chiwade. Say petumi ya woniema ye di to me. Because you see all the fine ideas are now don't go for or so when you're president and we have to be careful and you see the all kind of yes I know
no I think I can't the same thing yeah can't the same
see when they see a bobo yeah cause oh na don't go for the ministers here 80 something 86 yeah nya feel will be the okko trouble na baby out there
the MP na
the minister na minister na kakra bi na can MP na kakra bi na can ho na me 50 something he doesn't care about what you say the only say or majority of ministers and that's where the propaganda is will work You can't come and say, oh, any year, because see, even deputy CEOs, they provided their mom accommodation mom. Until even gas MP, they die our team, and one our team. They have ministers bungalows. Your mom was dying. You can't see a trimmer, you trimmer question. Until I made say, you're born a tough one. Ura Danko Kufado. All we use size, no. It doesn't matter the margin. Only Bibima, a nipa, a call on him, no. Would know that president. I can't smell it. Once you decide not to listen to the people, nipa na woman ka so woman tie wa ba na ntumi woman ye. And that's yeah can chance about individual bondholders want me. We are asking them to help. And I'm about
10:30. Say no.
Yeah, about better than na juma wo ye no timeden. Aye di. We are not saying say ye ni mmiri so be here juma. And I pray I mean bomb pies are buying bar. Obeboa ma juma bibire den aba. Man kofo anya bia den aye. So that abanye juma na aye choke no. So your office is be have. Kofi obi kwanya baby ntra. It's true. And that is true.
It's true.
Office be and kofo kwanya baby ntra.
It's true.
Because the more you create of a ministry, no, you need to fill the gaps heading a woman. A yebeboa, but say the animal I wouldn't use America private sector heading a move a cancer or mine. A buying she or the other private sector driven, you know, and they say a million year a cookie. So I'm part of the meeting and your Juma. Yes, sir.
I was for me that say no pay.
Many Pentecost for a charismatic one. I saw for now. I just me papa no. Me me abo from me. Yes, and the voice at to move him say, "O man penny na na do dankwa akufuado." O man penny papa wada Roma. Aya ya kasa. Wachi mbi kakra.
Charles Medas say, Kwame, good morning. Nana Dodankwa Akufo-Addo is seriously creating more problems for the one who would want to succeed him. The president must change his direction now. From Clement Jonard in Tadi. Audition chairman, we are all crying for cost cutting. I'm waiting to hear MPs talk about ex gratia. Audition Jabing in her show. Ex gratia. It looks like Nanado is preparing the NPP for opposition. President Kufuor did it in 2008. John Mahama did it in 2016 under the Yentiobuya mantra. Now it's Nanado's turn. Nana should listen. We like him and love him. But this one pass dear. He's getting it wrong. George in Adenta. Now, this is terrible. Tonto. Inti bondholders.
Yeah.
Me question and me bisa as a government communicator. And there will be a customer buying. Say, and pennyfo ya ko picketing inti mu ho mo saying.
Chairman General.
Because as we speak, if what I am seeing and hearing is right, former Chief Justice Sufa Ekufu akoka omo ano pay.
Wow.
I see.
What is going on? Say, and then day 5, I think. Empenyu 4. The Biano Makwatra Ministry of Finance. And Besine Sebi. And need the moment for Sebi Asi Yan Sasimbian Kanchirom. Say, Niametin Ayeno Krea. Say, former Chief Justice.
Come on, no correct because we'll be sending video.
Aquacom. Back to the optics we're talking about. What's going on?
Chairman General.
Kofi Tonto.
Say
Charles, this will be the video I send you.
Obi the photograph, brother.
What's going on?
Say
Look it on the placard.
the Tiani say a share baby a yabedru na enipa bebree gina owuo ne nkwanta because when it comes to individual bond holders as someone obi wo ho a sabe na edura ode hwe ne ho yare ho na opone sika kakra se ne be ya nyame be ya na dom no nya hode obi wo ho nso a bi a wonyare dindin bia but kakra wode to aduane di no because oye adwuma say bi a brand here because averagely be adwuma be 35 years oye adwuma akra ne nsa ase kakra ena ode akwakoto saa ade se ne be yanka mfaso die bi beba so na watimi de ahwe no obi won so a de opeso ode gya nchirima no enti it is a matter of life and death. Yeah. To me, the decision I have personally taken on this issue is that say MPP na ye say na we ye say na we ye say na bedru say no. I have decided that men need sound community bio. Because baby a ye drew no. Enipa nkwa nipa nimonyam na ye kan. Because I can say Chief Justice Madam Sophia Kufu. Etwa this is a woman whom just about 3 years or 4 years ago, no, you're the fourth in command in this republic. The fourth in command. Been pa na ni sika nka ho. But bia ni nua bi. Bia na busuan been pa na nya na busuan ni bia but o feeling the ordinary because sabi ni age no ni nua no mo na they find themselves in that position. Enti media the America and they say aban hyehyɛ a ne IMF call ye ne say yemfa bosia ne mbra 55% threshold saban ye betimi aye bibi na say ebekɔ 57 58 mpo na ye maame nmu yi ebetimi ne ye papa no ye betimi de o maka ho a yenhwɛ kwan a ebetimi afa so.
Me question it say this is the 5th day.
5th at the picketing.
Yes. Okay. And what's the way forward?
Yeah.
I mean, say a former Chief Justice appointed by President Akufo-Addo.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
At this point, the optics.
Maybe no analysis am I o mitrim nyina yira.
It's true.
Me na me ka kiro. O kan asemi maboto.
Yeah.
Mayira. So hu chese me kasa kra yira. So hu enti de mekane say chelpa NSC the bondholders no. TNS as a government we have to listen to them. We have to empathize with them. We must do everything necessarily possible to bring them on board. If it means say 55% now ya shama ye hono, ye be increasing it by 2% in part. We must do it. Because usha numbers now individual bondholders no en sheda murusu bebre sa nyame adom o hwe percentage ane ye pe 80% participation na yetimi abon ho modern. I must concede say baby a ye start see free no enye ho na yegina sisi because initially Aban started with 12 different bonds at various maturity levels, but say Aban abegina say obi a we less than 59 ye be mount 10% 5 years and then that 10% no you best strike it o normal rate ananka obeje no. Seven so obeje 15% you amount 10% and it's starting this year. First and nanka you see you scratching this year but say you started this year. That 10% advance and obeje 15 and I buy so amount 10 5 na kan at maturity I buy this size can be amount. So what the 59 and upper I buy be amount the same program. The difference in say instead of 10% no ubenya 15%. But bia na nipa kakra bi bonya den enyo so. Menyi ni say omo nyina na omo bonyo so. Bia nipa kakra bi bonyo so. Me stress say nipa kakra na omo bonyo so. Because the last deadline I did mine was on the 7th. And nipa dodo na nyanti ase said they will go on the program. But there was a technical error until minister ma 5 days or so additional or 4 days. And they be wu echina. So be on the bond program. Your best say and then query yen hwe kwan a say nipa kakra we die. Yesre minister and form omra on board. Na kwan ya be fa so a ebetimi de programmer ebeto masuma ma omo no yemfa ema omo na yenko yanim because me nyin ni say even if we have to increase to 57 or 58% for the optics me nyin ni say ade ayentimi nye ti rakwa me de manu besia ensam no de na nka bebre ye woni ma bebre a sanke magana 40 ase enuanom aka bibia afa 49 billion bia abanya print ho any all manner of things and na me person ka me de sa education ne but asema o kan no I hit me too much enti ye de besia na yasre se de aban betimi aye bia no yenye na yemfa moa ye papa no mo a omakopekete na yenhwe se omo nso ho behen ha omo me da se bra kwa.
Dr. Safo.
Good. Yeah, the incha kese ne the be empathize with your nuanom panimfo aya omukopikete wo finance ministry ho kotenatena ho se omukakwachi finance minister obeko no mo de placards ne ade ya church so ne ma ade and yenka se some panimfo we nyam panimfo kuma anopai ne yate aka ho ikura de chese abehye mukina kra. Before that no omu station ye omu interviews ni nyina bra kwa mi so tie ya Dr. Say ba kokro kasa ya mete ye no ye former Director General and so CEO of SEC Securities and Exchange Commission di just empanifo na ejina omu nuanom anamu ya omu ko finance minister no they are sending a signal omu ye nkrofo a omu nimni omu ka na kabra kwa me nyanwa se yes ade ne ye optional let's say nye compulsory anka why would they go and pick it porter na
I must say mon kan chom keke se we yom afri eno ano no
absolutely but then when the lecturer say the word voluntary ne kra no
it's not true.
Yes, because these are senior men now to say omunim what they are about enti there is maybe the majimu the information is still no enyanko yi say ada obe subscribe ana ye be subscribe amount because nka voluntary ni wo ho a ka me say nka minim ni enti say empanifo say ya omunim de ade because se pass enye by force na se pass enye ya nka se nka omuti omu
see the tie ne say voluntary
but
one koso a aban issue new coupon bia bio. On say normally what happens with bonds and say people roll over.
Yeah.
Until a mature or nisikano. Now are rolling over. 2022 was the year a nipa dodona aban decided say all issue new bonds BABU.
Yeah.
Because some of the coupon rates were going as high as 50%.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why aban had to find money to pay them. Now the aban can say he still finds himself in that quagmire. And it's a while my new coupon now. sa usika no ontimi ma newborn nti wan hwe ya de beba no se chise okọ court ekofo so aban se onfa usika nya de ema nti ehọ na aban try so be avoid it. So let's get as many people on board. Na sa when watwimi ne za na ma ne nyina anya de ama ehọ na yedru so at say
good ena enkomodidie mu no mete ba ko bi se mpanimfo yi amomodian signing up to economy no ebe crash. And that is where ama assembly nyina be ade mpanimfo se ujai dia wo ya unya adaje nyame anim no ma bia ni hono mu a egu oman Sri Lanka no mu ne Haiti no mu ne ade nyina no sebe omadu omu a form craft for mo aye kan economy a sebe agija wo wiase nyina wonka nyi omu mfrim na no social media so na omabo modia tu omuma mpani so saa na afide waja oman na mo na hwe ni amanfo ye chese nani age so do man mpani swimming pool mu obi akodo man mpani mpa so no de atwa picture ne den the economy of Sri Lanka will start then to rise. First, because of Manfo no feel say near also paying tendi over Adino. Sebi Ojaneko. And there may be one more ya or feel saying yeah, the new person wouldn't have to do that. Or Manfo in Abiso may cast on my economies don't collapse. Individual companies then they can fold up and those things, but on my ingu. Sebi say a share na menu akofika. Ye target I set ye no ebema ye ho ache ya let's adjust the targets. IMF for no ye nkrofo a mote ayase minye so say omu ye tintin the event say sebe ebema o man ne ho ache no cry omu se chenchena ye nko ne sa. Let's go back to the targets we set for ourselves. Na ye hwe say betimi asa target ne kakra to suit her. But so bi bema ya ti asese sa fu yi ansan ne apa o man ne be good ye e ho de I beg to differ bra kwa me o man ena sa di bi ma me ni bi ne bu ame na me mbu awo inso abamu a ye nyina ye gu so ayeka ba ko amete and minim say bra ko fi wa no pay me refer to you pa because things on the ground that mo mechire mu nchire ye ye say ye be see port okita ye nyansi port no okita ye what ni ohwe port the director general of the port the deputy of the port the end of the porter omunyina air draw salaries ni nyina ye little things are in fact enye parliament saw enyema no a anka still la hunchire mu with the targets that the budget set for itself. Still there was some money dedicated to the cathedral, for example. Any there be issues on the ground that you feel say you prioritizing na si hu pass hunchira ba ne katikati ne man ketin bia anka betimi aboa yen ma we don't have to push it onto safo ya akwese omunomu yesisi ya lifeline. How can pensioners and their money be the saver and a lifeline as a country? Then ye koya na ye buy wonu mu a omusika da hono bond holders a sabe binu mu anyini akwa mu ahomgie mu omutomu nro ni ade no omu de ne na CCS ye nsa nka ye economy as economy of Ghana a collapse. Nobody should tell me that. Because any enka yanso de enka baby edu de enka mejo enka minim baby edu. Let's look at elsewhere. May offer Kobnaje. Say there are so many ways of killing a cat. Why are we being told say in this one it is only this way na ye fa ebe see ehwe na see betimi aye ho bibia ye say ye papa no mumpani for ni adeba ko finance minister and ade no amitie opani ba ko no say omuko ho day one no na finance minister are very busy into man penny for me no bi eba beti o man do the same ni ade de koy e no mama ne bo an say petition na kasa do mu de kodada until they just want the finance minister to act on the petition mun say da ni amane bo foforo bi abio. They were expecting say bia o anka omubeti bi about their petition and they said they will continue to picket until they hear something about their petition. Adaroma a state that does not honor its heroes is not worth dying for. Ye the beye bi mu kra na nye safo yi bejetum say sisi baby abedu no ye better. But say twe omo na se chenchena omo se omo nsan apa. Let's look for other ways. Enye honko na ye ya ebema oman no etimi agina. first media na mentiasie whoever who was part of those thinking zero the na man for be ko huntokwa wo na by the he announce your can zero interest na he was not expecting a fight back. There was definitely going to be a fight back. Since he had about 15%, my dream would be a better deal. In fact, if you say I'm in yes, and there and Kebeba, sir, several years to compare to 5 years, dear, I think say a better deal. Ye can be more but as many as who be in the message say omunko sign up. In fact, me mumudie into 2 4 months first can't ho. Ye na no person and yes no. Oh yeah, there you have to deposit your money. One of the surest way I still think say with government bonds and I say with the government. T-bills no bonds are name from basic economy say no na the surest no. A man for say it's still the surest because 5 years then just was take an share go. Communication ne propaganda na ma akofa sade we nyina ba. Obia obetimi bia at this current stage say 15% ni adidie. Eni enke but so for anybody to tell me back my point is say for finance minister to tell anybody say safo yi an sign up Ghana a goodie enye nokre omayi ngu ye beja idea ye ni enya we can look elsewhere and we can still make it up including adjusting your targets with the involvement of the IMF say be eduni mumie fanko ebia this target 58 60 na yentimi nye kakra ne why not on beti ase enti yenhwe no nso na ene ya nafia de ya nke yempe baby mfa sa yempe nimfo ya sem na nkonkotwere na omunyai ehoneko na emwaye nyina media kokatra ni ade a yenyina oman na ne yegu oman na ni mase no
Doctors must promise that say Charles Yampon
benefo bi say na no ese ko to obi obi kuntokwa na yimsan say den o say
bisa say na no den esi
ye asami ba bia dia bedru nyina ye nkita hudi a aban we nipa ewo ma ya appoint om ne ommanfo ni kasa ye ntimi nka because asem bia ni wa chama ye dia aba na ka ye mfa se ka ye dia ya no ne kasa ani ahu brase ebuo ni ani di ne de man kofo me de me sre wo mampani akufo do president wadaroma frɛ wo manfo na no mo kasa talk to them see go fi enipa ewo bond no I think say it's about 1.2 million enipa say your person be signing on tweeting about 341,000 or 42,000 enye nipa keto asem say nipa 300,000 or even 200,000 this I say you better take aban timi nya ne ho twabresa you can do the program but they will take their money e be frustrate aban ti me feel say na no me hwe video bi a bo me na me mo video na me hu ye no ma me na okasa pa o na de na me pesa me free finance minister no nya na okan si asem na hu ya wa asem bia ne post kwan ifa so ye san no ni padu na aba no ya gitum because sa individual bondholders ye nto aba ma obi a o individual bondholders ye nto aba ma obi a wona ya to aba ma o na osu betuma ye ntina to aba na den e de ma o na ne ma ekọ a mummra fam appointees no mummra o ho ase no mummra fam no mo so do na mo nkakasa be ma enipa akoma den e be to ne yam do da we betuma bi say sika gobi oni video ma no ba asma we kan no timi ma na me kra onya iska bi ntubuto ba na ne ho den adwono ahotoso a ye de sum Kristo nyina ye asemo a ya teda de yehu bi da bakosema asida se wei kwa manemu onyame asem nti ofribu enti me ho to awurade so awurade den e begemi ha bakosem ba ye gidi enti finance minister FM woni nipa wonom kasa obi eni ho ya abofra so ya abofra kwa no oni sika I mean what is wrong with it enti sabi eni ma say madaro mu nyina mu ni a chopa na ye den ye de pam enya patapa asem na mu yanye ni say ya say ni besi na aka say memmo na boa me dia e wo kwan benso me me sika beto no me an makọ madwuma dem sika ba beto sika me dia beto no so da kofi cheche mu pepepe no obi wo ha ne fapem na ho de nyina ni sika no ma me ne ka asem bia na mu do o se ye mpese be dia to o man ne so ene ye mpese be dia ma ye manti ɛna yɛyɛ adwuma no yɛti bi to hɔ den ɛde yɛ saa adwuma wei sɛ ɛbɛyɛ yɛaba ahogyee mu no yɛde bɛtɔ aduane den adi na menkɔha me ba anaa menkɔha ɔman no because yɛti wote America wonim sɛ ɔmo nyina aban hwɛ ɔmo anamboa
so obi a wayɛ adwuma bi anya no retirement
apart from retirement no
not what I know is you get your retirement package, you get your social security. Then you know you see kaya tete kakran to ho. Aban no de be man wa.
But omo yare.
Okay. Depend. It's all health insurance.
I don't know. I'm saying that because Ghana near man to sa and so obi didn't see kakotoa or check his animal way na. Me baba ya kokra no because the Ghana ha chairman ohiani bia before
skani bia nyu ayabon before
that be ohiani bia before onya ba ibron sama ba ba nti wo sika kofi I mean who could be you be because how ehu no say ohia ba wo so na ho kire wo so nko ade a say bibi boni bi wo ho a e siw kwan mo de mo ntiri edi that is why nkofo ye adwuma na that chance 70 no matter kakra den e dey ato nchen so we be bomb ho bra kopin so be wafi atas was enti asama ye kan life and death asama ye kan no enye kasa na de obetima kan za keke obetima kan za ye kan ye na mmom se e wo ho a e different e wo bi hu so na wo ka ho asama so a e different
e tia yanko ho e tia duam
yes aman o mampani na na danko akufado ba bia du no asa ya trapo I don't know bia obia no otie yan
Peace FM
any member and manfo and I'm sure say penny for penny kasa wia na asama san
o peri dwan wia na nsu asa
gidi say okasa e be ma bufu bia ba bia na koma be den e beto because chairman ye kasa yina so no you say finance minister me meeting me trans kasa onye ahwi because aban adwuma wo ye nyina ni iskasa and so if sika be free bia ba ma aban puntu dwuma ba na kasa finance minister never na mbom ni patodo owo man mu including ono ana by mu ne party for say this is one person your person will free ho and so all these things so e koso a ban so gina be ogina no so no etimi fuel these I can say tensions in 10% den e koso ti me feel say never be say ba maybe we bet me free presidency kra maybe deputy chief of staff or chief of staff himself or herself ma me no we near free or move or ko be finance ministry or koto chief justice former chief justice say no one who so na kasa I mean ebuo wom fedie wom ani die so den e wom penifo ho nyina wetima twom kra say me pese me ne mudi nkomo mombra ma so e nam ne mo den ene mo nkasa ye nya ne sa ye transen sa bigidi se be ma so ndie den aba chama me dase
Meso Medasi Peace 104.3 Dr. Smart Sapon Doc Medasi no pay.
Yeah, Brakwa, we dey quick one.
Quick one before Kuba na. Chama kofo ya da bia me kan wasa mo ha dwin sa abobo ya afo no. Abobo ya afo no.
Masa abobo ya bi mo.
Se so masa kan ho bi ma edin. Na me da me kwan no so kwa dey ase ho na manufacture no. Omo ti ji kwan kra boso nya ba bi kwan fa. Ana me so say minister Henry Kote just start BB say highways no ke nyom emfiri so. Se sa program no ha me so men san start bi na no me ba na obi aba kwa be hwie board and traffic light yes e no no ada ho o hwie ayi na ne car ni na to e no wagya hokọ
anya o nko onim se nra me wo fa ase ba ko moto e de odi moto bo no odwane
obo no
ti ade a motofo no ye wo man we mu no esi ehwe ne pe ho asem ka
yeah yeah quick one Era Elizabeth abofra kra Elizabeth erabna da kwa dadzi edi ni birthday
ni trinkwa
ne papa Barnabas okra dadzi na oyemime to UCC medical school
bomolda na
onye bomolda ena rakwa we the last one kra yeah research and innovation week e wo Kumasi Technical University ye ben 20th to 24th of March. Branding Janson ye ba ye pa hontuma nyame adomo a Valentine's Day ye the chocolate and ye pa hontuma ye pese ye dan niema university no ye 7 years as a technical university. Some of the research and innovative activities are ya beboa mo man no akonanim niema ye betimi ya niema in a very simple way. We can eat quality food from the things that we eat near there. The bepa home to Manyami Aduma 14th, but week na ankasa de 20th to 21st March.
Okay, that's next month.
Yeah, the home nkrata 7 beba na yeah the home komo.
Okay.
Everybody
chop for your website.
Patron for loyal ladies. And many penny for a down on meka ho. But nyame ya adomo a ye di 7th year next month. Na ye niema bebre nti next week so ye chocolate year call the various schools under the loyal ladies
Mumra Kumasi Technical
University. Okay you anya monya KSTU
Kumasi Technical University.
We are on the various campuses across the country. It's nyame boa Valentine Day ye na 7th March, and so yeah 7th
now only said loyal ladies is baby boy from there. Onim maybe production for na catch me.
Hey now production for just and so no about loyal ladies.
Yes say anya loyal ladies now. Hey 26 yeah the omo by interview have been prensa. Hey omo koye car washing omo koye hwan enyo fine girls be yes be brave wo ho bobo afu because you buy
Olivia was send message to say you pon am de be ma wo onu de ni bofu
chama woni say former MPs na so dodo na dem bofu
say dey
oh say wa woni mo did ya wo but ufri can say and but there are even the people that the government can even fall on them
for communication.
And other but you dey go hear loyal ladies next week you ever heard loyal Kokrokoo for time check is 11 in the morning Friday February 10. Happy birthday to Odishieba KSK Prempe or Christian Homeschool Down Suman. Odishieba KSK Prempe from your father Superintendent Oti Prempe and the entire family. And then also to W.O. Bibiana Donko. Enjoy your birthday, W.O. Bibiana Donko, formerly of 1 Signal Regiment. Setacito is from Peggy Ama Donko to you. I'm making way for Kofi Kumbel saying I gotta go, I've overstayed my welcome. We're back on Monday morning, God willing. May your day be blessed, may your weekend be good. Yes, indeed, my prayer for you, my dear listeners, in the book of Numbers in the Bible, Numbers 6:24 to 26. May that be your guiding principle. It's my prayer for you. It still remains a tough world out there, but still we rise. When you stop to say a prayer, remember to say one for me too. God bless. Good morning.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees. Mommy, chop money. Crash it. Mommy, rent. Emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.